before then, we're going to talk some football and basketball with Jaccare Givens, one of my absolute favorite people on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. He's at KingJock24 on Twitter. And something that I just learned about this man, Jaccare, is I had no idea until a couple of weeks ago that not only can he talk football for days and talk basketball for days, he can also apparently talk pro wrestling for days. Like I see this guy turning up on the One Fall show with Sean Stanley and Jonathan Ramlakan, which is really good. I'm not even a big wrestling fan, and I watch these guys every week, which is a compliment to you. But Jaccare Givens joins us now. Jaccare, I hope you had an excellent weekend, sir. How are you?
I did. I'm good, man. Happy to be back on with Donno, man. I missed you.
I missed you too, man. And listen, I'm going to dive into some football with you because Dolphins training camp is in progress. But I also want to get your take on what I think is going to be happening throughout the next couple of days with the Miami Heat. The first of those is bringing in Kyle Lowry. Are you mostly on board with this or completely on board with it? Because I know one of the things people get concerned about is potentially 3 years, $90 million. I'm not as concerned about the money as I am about the production, even at his age of 35. So I'm bullish on this. I'm all in on it. What say you?
Lowry would be a great addition. I mean, I would love to see the Miami Heat go younger because we haven't had that young piece in a long time. We do have Bam. Jimmy's an aging superstar, but I love the idea of having Kyle Lowry because he opens up the floor for Bam Adebayo. Bam will become a better player in the pick and roll, obviously, with Lowry. Lowry's a junkyard dog on defense, so he takes some responsibility off of Jimmy Butler and off of Bam defensively, and you remove that, that with Goran Dragic, you have more scoring, but with Lowry, you have more of an all-around better player. So I love the idea, and it also makes Bam a better player with his best attribute, which is passing, because he'll be kicking that back out to a Kyle Lowry for 3 or hitting Lowry on the cut, diving to the cup. So you love the idea of Lowry, I know, but this is a win-now league, so it's not really about, if a guy is 36, 37. Like, no, this is a win-now league. Does not matter how old a guy is in basketball. As long as he still can contribute, he's good to me.
Jaccare Givens from the 5 Reasons Sports Network is with us here. Now, Jaccare, I'm expecting Lowry, and then if, let's say, DeMar DeRozan comes in as well, what do you think the expectation should be for the Heat in the playoffs next year? Because I think if they land both of those guys, it's got to be based on the expectations, Eastern Conference Finals or bust. That's where I'm drawing the line. Eastern Conference Finals or bust. What do you think?
I kind of agree with you. The only thing is it just depends on how the other teams move. Say for instance, if Philadelphia gets a Damian Lillard, then you kind of have to contend with that. So
yeah,
it just depends on the moves the other teams make. But if Miami makes those moves, they should be in the Eastern Conference Finals against a Brooklyn Nets team who I think will come back very loaded and ready to go.
I love it. Jesse Lockhart says EFC or bust. I think he meant ECF, Eastern Conference Finals or bust. I totally am on that, man. Now, I do say that every year. I said that even last year with the group that the Heat had, but that was coming off an NBA Finals appearance. I don't think it was that unreasonable to say Eastern Conference Finals or bust, but I'm doubling down on that this year with the idea that the Heat will definitely be getting better this offseason. Now, the Miami Dolphins have training camp in progress as we're joined. I do want to talk some football as well here with Jaccare Givens. Now, Jaccare, I'm very anxious to see what happens with Xavien Howard because the Dolphins do have more leverage than X, and it already sounds like X is becoming a little bit more open to the idea of working out something with Miami because when he made that statement on his Instagram 6 days ago, that sounded to me like a guy who was turning the page on any possibility of wanting to stay with the Miami Dolphins. Like he wanted to get the hell out of town. And then a few days later, over the weekend, he speaks to the media and says he is hopeful to get something done to stay in Miami. So right there, that tells me maybe the fences are being mended a little bit, or at least he's understanding that he doesn't have as much leverage as the Dolphins have. But my question to you, Jaccare, is because unfortunately, Noah Igbenogany has not exactly been stepping up these last few days, right? Nick Needham has been all right. Byron Jones, yes. But how much worse do you think it makes the Dolphins if they were to trade away Xavien Howard? How much worse does that make their defensive backfield?
Well, you have to look at it like this. The Dolphins got better up front this offseason. So, what negates a bad secondary is a good pass rush. If you don't have any time to throw the football, it doesn't really matter who's back there covering. Um, but losing Xavien Howard will be major for the standpoint. You're losing a top 12 corner, top 10 corner in the league. Like, you have probably a top 5 tandem in the league, him and Jones. I did not like that Howard was trying to underslight Byron Jones, just because Byron Jones, people forgot that this guy was considered a top 5, top 8 corner in the league when he went on the free agency market. Xavien Howard benefited from having Byron Jones on the team last year. I've been saying this for over a year. You don't catch 10 interceptions unless you're getting targeted. The top guys don't get enough targets to catch interceptions. And from a league standpoint, they watch film. So they're going at Xavien Howard because they know who the better player is. Byron Jones is a better cornerback than Xavien Howard. I know people are going to look at the season, he caught 10 interceptions. He does not do that if you don't have Byron Jones, because teams were afraid to throw at Byron Jones. Now this season, if Howard ultimately does stay, it's going to switch. Teams are going to target Byron Jones, and he's going to have the opportunity to have a strong season with a 6 or 7 interception season. The only thing with Byron Jones is he can't catch. So, it took him 2 years to finally catch an interception, and he caught it off a tip against Kansas City. So you have to look at it that way. Like I said, with Howard, they were already a top 5 defense. Without him, I don't see them dropping that far off. I think they'll be probably top 10 at worst, just because schematically they'll be able to recover. And whatever you're bringing back for Howard, you don't know what you're bringing back. So Igbenogany has struggled, but I like I told people, Igbenogany's only been playing corner for 4 years. Switched over from receiver. 2018 was his first year. 2019 he got drafted. Well, it was his rookie year. And 2020, this is his. We're in his second year right now. So I think Igbenogany in year 3, not this year, next year, will probably finally be what the Dolphins expect him to be. Corner is not an easy position to learn. He got drafted because he's a freak athlete. The guy's a 4'3" guy, 40-inch vertical guy, so he's a freak athlete, and they're banking on their coaching to make him a all-pro corner.
And another thing that there is some argument coming in on the chat, and that's fine with people who do not agree that Byron Jones is a better corner than X. Now, the thing is, if I'm going to rate X on his best season, which was last year, then yeah, I can't make the argument that Byron Jones is better. I can't make that argument. But the thing about X that I get a little bit concerned with, and I almost wonder, now I've been on record in saying this, and I'll double down on it, I do not want the Dolphins to trade X. I would like X to be a Dolphin next year and years beyond that. I want him to be a happy camper and do his thing because he makes this team better. He was the best player on this team last year. But I also wonder if the Dolphins were to trade him and get a big package in return, if they might even be trading him at the right time, because not only is he coming off his best season, he's also coming off his healthiest season. Because Jaccare staying healthy is not something that Xavien Howard has excelled on. In fact, the season right after the Dolphins gave him his current contract, which at the time made him the highest paid defensive back in the league, he repaid the Dolphins the year after that by playing only, I think, 5 out of 16 games the following year. So health has not been his strong suit, right? So if I can get 17 regular season healthy games from X and I'm getting his best, the guy is fantastic, but he hasn't done that time and time again throughout his career.
Yeah, and that's kind of what put him in the position he's in now. He was never healthy. He cashed in because the Dolphins were willing to pay him. So I cashed in. I've been injured. I cashed in that $19 million. That's why he came back. I didn't really understand the contract. And now he come back. To his point, he's not with that agent anymore, right? So the agent, the agent put him in this position. He then felt disrespected from the Dolphins signing Jones and Igbenogany. Then comes back, has one of his healthiest seasons. plays to, has a phenomenal season. But that's just a sample size. How many times has X played in all the 16 regular season games, right?
Right.
So I really do think that's one of the biggest questions with him. I don't think you get a big haul for him anyway. I think he'll be right around the edge of a second or third round pick. I've been on record saying I will only move Xavien Howard if it's to get Deshaun Watson, because you're upgrading. You're getting a top 5 quarterback at that point in the league. I do not see because you in the league you don't see player to player trade, so you're not gonna see Howard for example, Marshawn Lattimore, Nick Chubb, or Kareem Hunt. You're not gonna see nothing like that. Only thing I would say Miami should do if they decide not to trade X is probably add a Chandler Jones. I think Chandler Jones would be someone great for Jalen Phillips to learn from, and I think it'll make that pass rush deadly because you can go ahead and move Ogba over to the 3 tech on rush downs. It gives you a plethora of things to do defensively.
Let's talk about an offensive player in camp who's been absolutely feasting, and that's Albert Wilson. And I admit his performances so far caught me a little bit by surprise. And I think part of it is just recency bias, right? Because we haven't seen this guy in forever. Like he opted out
last year due to COVID.
Yeah. Sat out last year, was hurt prior to that. But the thing I think that impresses me most, Jaccare, because we know Albert Wilson is fast. That's no secret. And we know the guy has great abilities. But I just think the way he's clicking with Tua, because they haven't played together before. The last time Albert Wilson played, Tua wasn't in the league yet. And the chemistry that they're showing already in camp, you would think these guys have been throwing it, that Tua's been slinging it to him for years. And so now, the Dolphins have a lot of bodies and a lot of depth at wide receiver, and I didn't think Albert Wilson would necessarily make the team. He has now become basically uncuttable, right? I mean, there's no way this guy isn't on the team.
Well, he's what the Dolphins are molding. You look what they added this offseason, which was the guys with speed, right? Will Fuller, Jalen Waddle, and that's what they're in the mold of. And Albert Wilson, when healthy, was explosive. That year the Dolphins made that run with Gaze. Wilson was going absolutely crazy. The first couple of games, I remember the game against the Raiders where he caught the screen pass, went 70 yards. So, and he's what Tua needs at receiver. He's a guy that he's a great intermediate to short passing game guy where he's just getting the ball out of his hands. Those guys are making plays. So he fits what Miami needs and likes. I am not shocked by the resurgence just because he had a year off of football. This is probably the best his body has felt in probably 5 to 6 years, however long he's been in the league, because you got to think about it. Really and truly, you don't have an off season to get healthy. You know what I'm saying? You go, season's over, come, February, March, you're back in minicamp, back working out. You're getting prepared for minicamp. And Wilson has always been, before he signed with Miami, he was probably a bubble guy. So he's probably having to extend a lot of energy to make the roster. Now, I think this guy is for sure going to make the team. I would not be surprised if they kept him and Grant over Bolden Jr. And I think Preston Williams may be a trade candidate. Just because he's never healthy.
Yeah.
And I don't think he fits what Miami wants anymore. Mac Hollins has done what I think a lot of guys in the league who are receivers. If you can't cut it at receiver, it's okay. Go put your hand down in the dirt, be a tight end. He's been excelling at tight end. And camp Mac Hollins deserves a very credit because he's accepted the move and he's dominating in the role as a tight end. And I think, to be honest, if he continues to trend away, I think it makes Mike Gesicki expendable. Maybe even before the season ends, you can make a trade and bring back some value for him.
Wow. Jaccare Givens joins us here on Donno Daily here on 5 Reasons Sports Live. Now, a player who I think is going to make a lot of media members around the country have to apologize to him in a couple of months because I'm saving the receipts, believe me, is Tua Tagovailoa. Now, a storyline so far, Jaccare, in camp has been explosive plays. I mean, the Dolphins' offense have been really explosive in camp so far. In fact, my guy Omar Kelly said something to the effect of, he's been covering the Dolphins since '07. That's when he switched over from the Canes beat to the Dolphins beat. And he's a guy we know can be very critical of offensive play, more critical than most. And he mentioned he can't remember a season since '07 where he's seen this many explosive plays from an offense. So Tua and Albert Wilson and company have been providing that. Tua had a couple of bad INTs the first day, and he's been on cloud 9 since then. Jaccare, in your mind, how much is Tua going to improve? How much of a jump is he going to make on the field from year 1 now to year 2?
Well, the guy's talent was undeniable anyway. He flashed last season in games. You look at the Buffalo game, the last game of the season. Yeah, they got blowed out, but he had an okay game. Kansas City, he played very good. He played very well against the Cardinals, which was his best game, right? I think people took the sample size of the Las Vegas Raiders game and the Denver Broncos game as this guy's not ready. But no, Tua has all the tools to be great. That's one. And two, he had a real offseason. So he was going to make a jump regardless of what people thought. And what did the Dolphins do? They went and got him guys to make plays. The three things that need for a successful quarterback and a young quarterback is play calling, playmakers, and protections. They have done all three of those things. So this guy is ready to succeed. And it's i.e., for instance, with Trey Lance, right? He's the quarterback of this season who's most set up for success. You look at Justin Herbert, he was in the same position last year. He had the protection, had the playmakers, and he had the play calling. So they called the game towards his locking. Tua did not have the playmakers last year. He did not have the play calling last year with Chan Gailey, and the protection was okay, whatever. It was whatever. Now he has the playmakers, the play calling, and the protection. And the Dolphins' protection doesn't need to hold up that long because they're getting the ball out quick. It's a lot of quick game, and then you'll get hit with the shots downfield with those guys. So I think they've done a good thing with the 3 Ps of the quarterback. It was just getting him playmakers, and Waddle, Wilson has come back, Parker, Mac Hollins moving to tight end. You still got Mike Gesicki out there who's on the COVID list right now. But think about that. And then they got him protection. The offensive line has been holding up. Dieter has been playing very well at center. You still have a couple of position battles to go, but they've been playing well. And then the play calling. Last year we didn't see a lot of motion with the Dolphins. This year you're seeing it with the pre-snap motion. Waddle, Wilson, those guys should be in motion every play because it makes them unguardable. You can't touch them off the line. Free releases, option routes. So they've done a good job with those things. It just comes to the game, right? To see if the protection holds up is probably the biggest question mark out of those 3 Ps.
Really well said. You guys want to make sure you're following this man. He's at KingJock24 on Twitter. He's all over the 5 Reasons Network, including the 6th Ring video stream on the Canes and college football.
This Friday.
Oh, my God. I'm not ready. This is too much. This is too much going on, man.
Ready.
Oh, my God. And, of course, you can watch him as well on One Fall with Sean Stanley and Jonathan Ramlakan. How long have you been into the pro wrestling? I just had no idea. I had no clue you're into that.
I've been watching pro wrestling my whole life. I kind of started to do all the reporting and deep diving in it probably about in 2014, going on sites, following reporters that, cover wrestling. I really enjoy it. It's something that I do in my free time. So every Monday, Friday, Wednesday, Tuesday, I'm watching wrestling. It's something I love. Sometimes it gives me motivation. Even when I used to play football and before I, cut the game up, I would go imitate the wrestling. So it gives you a character and persona. We're gonna have a big show this Thursday actually because a lot of news has broke with the release of some wrestlers and the return of some guys. So I can't wait, and I love it. And obviously, Donno, I'm going to be here with you. It's football season, so
love it.
It's my time to shine, man. I love it.
Now, who is your go-to pro wrestler? Because you say getting motivation from guys cutting promos and stuff. Who was it that got you the most fired up?
Whew, that's a good one. So early in my career, it used to be The Rock just because of how he talked. And then later, it was CM Punk just because of the straight edge. He was straight nonsense, straightforward, honest persona, his character played out. So that's what I went to, and I love how he was like, I'm the best in the world. If you check my Twitter bio, you see it. I have CM Punk's quote 25-8-366, best in the world.
Nice. Well, that's awesome. Best in the world right here, Jaccare Givens. Jaccare, thank you so much, my friend. Enjoy the rest of your week.
You too, man. Thank you.